and welcome to this, the Daily Templar Report with me, your guest presenter, Jim Dowson. How are you? I've changed the colours on my lights here, but I don't think it's a very good colour, to be honest with you. Let me try and change it back again. Is that better? Is that better? I don't know. Is that any better? I don't know. I can't really tell. You tell me. Go into that one. Do you know how to work these? No. Somebody doesn't know how to work them. Need to myself. Need to show you what this one day. Right. I don't think it's much of a difference, but I think that's slightly better. It was a wee bit weird looking, wasn't it? Anyway, that's it. So nice to see you in. God bless you. I don't think there's any mods in. Anyway, who's in? Roger Madison. How you doing? And I believe congratulations in order. Roger Madison was elevated to the post of Sergeant at Arms, and well deserved. Well done, brother. God bless you. And nice to have another Sergeant at Arms in the company. Very good. In a good company, I should say. He's in very good company. Loud and clear. Excellent. The camera occasionally goes, but I think we've got most of it all fixed. So that's good. So we've got Roger Madison there. Yes, Westover 1314. How you doing? Mitch Cameron's in. Hello, Mitch and Sherry. Paul Telford. Paul, how you doing? I think you're still trying to do some kind of wet minute. Phone the office. Nobody WhatsApp me because my WhatsApp's not working. It's went to blink. So don't WhatsApp me and then like send me messages because it makes no difference. And I get hundreds of things. I don't look at them. So anybody sending me phone messages, don't bother. So don't look at them. Phone the office and we'll get you sorted over the phone, Paul. All right. There we are. Mitch is there. Westover, yep. How we doing? Paul, that's it. We'll see who's else coming in. Anyway, while we're waiting some folk around, we'll have a wee bit of scripture. Now I'm going to read you from Psalm 139. Just a couple of verses of the Psalm 139. Hear ye the Lord. The Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my upsitting and mine uprising. Thou understanding my thoughts afar off. Thou compass my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Amen. And we know the Lord will bless this, the public reading of his infallible, inspired, and inerrant word. And the people of God said, Amen. Amen indeed. And we should remember that the Lord knows all of us, not just a bit of us. He knows all of us. He knows everything we do. When we rise up, when we lie down, he knows all of us and all about us all the time. And the Lord is gracious and merciful. Amen. And amen indeed. There's not many folk in today. I think people have got used to the habit of coming in here now because we've had so much bother with it. Although some people might be on the YouTube channel. But if there's anybody in there that can throw a wee message into the boys in Discord just saying that this is on live now, if somebody could do that. But I don't see any moderators in at all, which is a bit of an issue. Scott Phillips, how you doing? So if anybody's on Discord, let them know the thing is live. The Templar Report's on live. And please come in and see how we're doing. So there's a lot to talk about today. However, it's also the anniversary. When I got a bit of paper here on January 22nd, 1879. Remember, we found stuff in that wall, the house in there. People writing on it, 1873. So just 6 years after we found that. So a piece of plaster in here, Robert Todd, secretary of White Flag Militia Lodge, was 1873. But 6 years after that was the Battle of, now I've got to watch how you say this, the Battle of Isolawanda in what's now called South Africa. Now, I'm sure you're all familiar with the film Zulu with Michael Caine, but a few days before that, there had been a huge British column, because remember that where Michael Caine was in that wee place, Rorke's Drift, there was only like 180 soldiers in there. And they managed to hold the Zulus off. But a week before, an 1,800 strong British Army regiment were wiped out completely to a man, wiped out and disemboweled and mutilated by the Zulus at the Battle of Isolawanda. And that happened the week before Rorke's Drift. And a lot of uneducated British people today are saying, oh, this is when we sang the famous Men of Harlech. No, that was next week. Today is the anniversary, 22nd of January, 1879. When 20,000 Zulus, who are one of the finest trained armies in the world. You know, when one of your generals went over to meet the Zulu king, he was showing off with the British Redcoats how they were very good at marching on that the Zulu king wasn't impressed. He says, watch this, and he got 500 of his men. He told them to march right over a cliff, and they marched over a cliff to their death. He says, would your men do that? So this wasn't a daft army. This wasn't a bunch of savages. This was a highly mobile, experienced army, the best army of all the savages anywhere in the world. And they came across a British regiment of 1,800, and we should have been able to hold them, but we were wiped out. Why? I'll tell you why. You won't believe this. Do you know why the Zulus won that battle? Because we just went over from having crates, wooden crates of bullets, where you just smash the lid in with the butt of your rifle and grab the bullets out, to these new ones that were encased in tin, and then the wood put around them. So when the boys were trying to smash them in, they couldn't get through the tin. They couldn't get the bullets out for the Martini Enfield rifles. They couldn't get the bullets out. And of course, the Zulus overran them and butchered them, slaughtered them in the most appalling way. Then a week later, they came across a wee Christian mission called Rorke's Drift, with like 130 or 180 British soldiers in it. And they thought, this is going to be easy. And they couldn't beat us. That's where the Men of Harlech song comes from. Okay? So that's where it comes from. So today we remember one of the worst disasters in British history. 1,800 of our brave young men massacred by the savage Zulus. So with that in mind, I'm going to play this wee bit, but this is from the week later when we were victorious, and it's our boys out singing, because the Welsh can sing, let me tell you. This was a Welsh regiment. What was it called now? Can't remember. But it was a fantastic regiment. 142nd Foot or something. They were drawn mainly from South Wales, and the Welsh can sing, but so can the Zulus. So this is part of the battle scene. This is not today, but a week later, and this is when the final showdown comes. So I hope you enjoy this.
You think the Welsh can't do better than that, Owen?
Well, they've got a very good base section, mind. But no top tenors, that's for sure.
Stop your dreaming, can't you see their spear points gleaming? See their warrior pennons streaming to this battlefield.
Sing!
Men of Harlech, stand ye steady.
Come on, sing!
They cannot be ever said ye. For the battle is raging like never yield. The mighty foe surrounding, never Harlech run to glory. This will ever be your story. He deserves before ye, Welshmen will not yield. Stand ye steady, if thou not
Sorry, I thought it was more. I was just getting in there. But what a wonderful thing. That was the week after Islamanda, which we remember today, and the great British victory, of course, and the rest is history. We all know about that. It's fantastic, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. But anyway, the title of the show was about this Davos thing. Trump's over in Davos, upsetting everybody. So the good news is, as I suspected, is wild talk of invading Greenland was the art of the deal, just threatening everybody and noising everybody up. Anyway, he's got what he wants seemingly out of Greenland, but I think he was also shocked by the level of worldwide opposition, European opposition. And it could have resulted in American bases being removed from European countries, and that was really, really serious situation. I don't think President Trump realised fully the extent of the alarm that it put the European nations in. Anyway, it seems to be worked out now, and Trump has ripped into them all, ripped into that Macron, ripped into the rest of them. Well, he's gave them a right doing, isn't he, Marion? Oh, it was good, wasn't it? It was great to see. Trump has really wired into them and gave them an awful kicking, which was good. Well done, Donald Trump. And told them all, look, get your finger out. And listen, I agree with America. Why should American taxpayers pay for our security? It's a joke. It's a farce, and they've been paying it for since the Second World War. It's a farce. It's by the time Europe stood on 2 feet. They want security, pay for it yourself, leave the Americans alone. So that's what's going on. But well done, and excellent to see that the real good kicking that Donald Trump gave them. I don't think I've got any. I don't think we'll get any moderators in for some reason. Strange. Anyway, we'll wait and see. Who's in there? Who came in there? Peter Holder, how you doing? I've seen Paul Telford there saying 11 Victoria Crosses for bravery. Absolutely, done very well. And the Victoria Crosses is our highest medal of valour. And it's made of bronze. It's a wee simple thing. But the bronze is made from the cannons that were captured from Russia in the Crimean War in the 1850s. So the cannons were melted down and they're made into Victoria Crosses. If you put one up for auction, they go for like £100,000, £200,000, all this stuff. They're very sought after. There's a guy in this town winning a Victoria Cross. DeWind, he was in the Canadians. He was in the British Army, but in the Canadian branch of the British Army. But he came originally from here, DeWind. And every 11th of November, we have the Remembrance Day. They send a representative of the family here for the Canadians. And very good indeed. I've got a wee thing later on today. But this is, I'll show you now actually, because here's the style. And a lot of Europeans don't understand this. They look at the American style and they're shocked because we've got centuries of etiquette, centuries of political and diplomatic etiquette. When a young, middle-class boy goes to private school here, like Mr. Griffin, they're taught etiquette. There's certain things you cannot say. There's certain behaviours that are not indulged in. Outbursts of any type of emotion or anger are absolutely not gentlemanly. So that's how we're brought up in Europe. Germans, the British and all that. And then we have Donald Trump throwing a hand grenade in the middle of the room, doing everything that's not allowed in the book of etiquette. It's not allowed. You can't do it. And it freaks the Europeans out, especially the British. It freaks the British out no end. But there's a difference between Americans and Europeans. Americans are Europeans. But I think in DNA terms, the biggest group in America are English. They're the biggest ethnic group. Then Negroes, the second biggest group. The third biggest group are Germans. Germans and English, they're the same. Then the third biggest group is Scots and Irish and Irish. Scots, Irish and Irish. So they're the biggest groups in America. So amongst the whites there, you've got English, German, Scots and Irish. That's the big main groups. And that rugged thing comes from the times when they were doing the land thing, clearing the land and forging ahead to carve out America. And it's very based on a kind of Ulstery Scotch-Irish thing. Now, the Scotch-Irish are very similar to Trump. They're very brash. They're very bold. They don't stand in etiquette. That's why the English hated us. That's why we had to leave Ireland and Scotland, because the English didn't like us. So that's where the national character... I was talking to one of our brothers the other day in America who's from... I think he's Eastern European descent. But he can recognise it. He says, no, the character formed in America, the national characters took on that wild frontier ruggedness. And that's mainly from Northern Europeans, mainly from Ireland and Scotland. And that is the American character. So I don't particularly find Trump's behaviour alarming. I just think that's what Americans do. And there's a huge difference. And my father fought in the Second World War with Americans, and they said they were a different breed. Now, I never think they can't fight, but they don't really like authority very much. Americans don't really like being told what to do. They're not keen on it. They don't like it. And my son-in-law, who was in the Royal Irish, he was in Helmand Province with the Americans and the Afghan there a few years ago. And he said, they're just a different world. They've got Burger Kings shipped in and all that, and they do their stuff, and they're wandering about, and their officers are messing about with the guys. Where our officers stay their own wee bit, men and officers don't mix. I don't like it. It's not cool. Your officers should always be aloof. And nearly all our officers are English upper class, and they don't horseplay with the boys. They stay aloof. But Americans say they're all in them together. So they're totally different breed, but they can fight. Never class that as being sloppy. And that's where a lot of the world goes wrong, like Russians and things like that. Say, Americans are undisciplined, da-da-da-da-da. Doesn't mean to say they can't fight. The Ulster Scots are undisciplined. We're wild. We're a wild bunch. Not the American character. But nobody would ever doubt that we couldn't fight. Of course we can. We can fight. So here's a great example from a film called The Devil's Brigade. I don't know if any of you guys will remember. I'm sure they're all a certain age like me. There was The Devil's Brigade. Okay. So, and it's a story of Second World War. I think it's in the desert. And there's a prison camp that's holding a lot of Americans. and the Canadians have been captured as well, and they're going to the same prison camp. And it shows you the difference between that kind of British thing and the Canadian thing, British thing and American thing, sorry. So it's very typical. So I'll let you have a wee look at this. Have a look at this. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you remember it.
All right, big mouth, that did it.
Wait a minute, it was all my fault.
Butt out! On your feet, Dago. You got more coming.
Change direction, right! Right wheel! Mark time in front. Move it up. Ready, company. Hope. Left. Turn.
Major Crown, sir. Canadian Army. Reported for duty.
Glad to have you with us, Crown.
Ready, company. Started. Hey!
Captain Cardwell, get these men into formation. On the double.
Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Company formation on the double.
Company formation over here and on the double. Let's go. Come on, move it. On the double.
Set it. Hey!
Okay, let's go. All right, come on.
God save the king.
God save us all.
I'm back. I'm back. Okay. He's not here. Okay, so that's a good example of the differences of the two. The Canadians are fantastic soldiers. My dad served them, said they're the best soldiers I ever came across. Made up of mainly Scots and Irish. Speak Gaelic. Yeah, Newfoundland. They're all Irish. It's incredible. And Nova Scotia is obviously New Scotland. So, brilliant army. Don't know like that now, but they used to be fantastic. Probably went woke now. So there you go. YouTube stream was just suspended for policy violation. Really? Again, it's just the trouble. That's why we've got purged. You can't trust any of them. You cannot trust any of these other platforms because sometimes they'll pull you down. Policy violation. It's because you're showing videos and things like that. You can't do it on YouTube. Yeah. So there we are. That's why we work so hard to keep Purge alive, because at some point in the future, you'll get kicked off of all these other platforms, even BitChute and what's this new one they're on now? I don't know. What's the one? Jada does a lot of stuff. That'll go as well at some point. You can't trust these people because we don't support various different causes. And if you don't support them, you won't last on the media industry. So there you go. You know, last week we lost our Facebook page. We just started it. We're up to 20,000. Like, no problem. Boom. Zapped. It's the way there. It's the way it is. We can't complain. Anyway, I've got a wee update to show you. I've got a nice wee update to show you on the chapter house, how we're doing. I've put a link in. The link is there for the chapter house. I'll put it in here. There you go. There's no mods in here today. I don't know what's happened. So I'm having to do it myself. But anyway, here's a wee thing I've done for the chapter house. So have a look at this. Let me see if I can do it. I'm just giving you a wee update on the Priory building stuff. It's coming on. It's coming on. Come in and see the ladies' dining room. That's it. So there we go. So I've put all this stuff down. This was old timber we reclaimed out another part of the house that we'd done about 15 years ago, padded the walls out. So this was all reclaimed, 3x2 or 4x2. These ones we bought, but so it's all sitting on damp proofing strips. That's the new concrete floor we put down. But rather than have a concrete floor because it's a bit chilly in the feet, decided to have a wooden floor in here. So that's the subfloor down, then we'll put insulation down, and then we'll put the chipboard down, and then we'll put the wooden floor on top of it. So by this kind of height you're up, okay? So over here, that's the mains water pipe, that blue thing. So over here, we're going to put a fire in here and a fireplace. Same one as in the chapter house. But we have to cut a big bit of this wall out and build another wall behind it to make a fire chamber. We need to make a fire chamber, okay? And then we can set a fire in there. We're going to put an open basket in there so we can have logs on it, so when you're in the dining room you can get the crackle of the fire and all. It'd be really, really nice. It'd be nice. It'd be a fire similar to the one in there. This big thing here, this big pillar that we built, that solid concrete block behind it holding up the H-beam, or the I-beam as you call it in America. We're going to put, to make it look right, we're going to put the same structure over here but hollow, and that will be the cabinet in the dining room that has all the wine glasses, the plates and, well, maybe not the plates, but certainly the wine glasses and different stuff for the dining table will all be stored in here. So it'll just look like that. But we're paneling all this anyway. So I'll just show you the type of fire we're putting in there. See, a better level now, isn't it? That's all the marble. That fire, this fire here, it's a bit manky looking around. But something like that, you can get them that are quite fancy with brass finials and things like that. A big basket like that down there, because you don't really need it as a primary. You don't really need it as a primary heat source. It's for, as we say in Ireland, it's a bit of crack. It's sitting there at night with the fire going and the big red cross lit up and all that. But very nice. So a fire similar to that in there, so we can throw logs on it and have a nice jolly old time. Because if you put a stove in there, it'd be too hot. You wouldn't be able to sit there. So let's have a look. There's some of the columns for the marble fireplace. This is some of the waterproof plywood for underneath the showers in the en-suites. He's got that music on now, I don't know who put it. Anyway, we'll see. And this is the 24mm 1-inch thick waterproofed chipboard to line all the floors, okay? So come on. We're making good progress. Right, so in here, we've got this is going to be power showers, working off the boiler, we've got the copper in through the wall, power showers, your bath over there, this is going to be a heated towel rail here, and over here there's a big unit going there, the toilet, sink, vanity unit, all that kind of stuff. It'll be really nice. This is the room. This was going to be a bedroom, but because we couldn't get out on that roof, we've had to make this bedroom into the big main family bathroom. So this will be rather nice in here, but it's a massive bathroom. But I would have preferred it as a bedroom. But there we are. You have to compromise sometimes. Silent Garfunkel. So the good news is, we lit this fire today. Remember, the house is still wide open, no doors anywhere. We lit this fire, and the difference in temperature between this room and the room next door was about 10 degrees. So this system works, this insulation system we've done in the roofs and the walls, it really works. What's that radio? Try to turn that down a bit. Good song that as well. I'll put it back up in a minute, George. It's dark in here, can you see alright? No. So this is the stud walls up. All the insulations, I don't know if you can see much in here. Can you see me in here? No?
Blurry.
Bit blurry? Well, I'm in here anyway. This is there'll be a shower over there. A sink in the middle. And the toilet over there. It's all piped in, all plumbed, all piped in. This is all insulated now, and that's the floor down. There's that waterproof stuff to go down, and then the shower can get in. And we've got all the showers. I forgot to show you that. It's down the stairs for the showers. Anyway, come and see. That's under the floors. 4-inch, 100mm. That's under the floors in there. Because you're above the entrance there, so you don't want the cold coming up there. Right. We're just doing a look at your handiwork, George. What you doing for down here, son? So, we have to cement all these walls because they're all stone walls. We were finding we were looking into the fire so you could get the fire coming through here. So we've had to concrete these walls. Then we'll be studding them out with insulation. But as you can see, we've got the pipes in the forum work. We've got the pipes in here. What's going to be happening here? That toilet won't be there. So there'll be basically a shower here in this corner. Shower here. Shower in here. Radiator in that wall. A toilet here. There's a toilet plumbed, it'll be here. But it'll be one of those high level toilets, you know, the old fashioned ones where you pull the chain, the water's up there, and there's a big stainless steel pipe goes down here, but one of them old fashioned ones. Yeah. Who's that phone? The sink. If you want to come in here, sometime you can see that lovely wall. Oh. See that lovely wall? That's all going to be pointed. This is most of the walls are getting covered. This wall is staying. Look at it. Just patch it up, and that's going to be a big exposed wall. So there we are. You have to take these floors up now, don't you, for the insulation? Oh. Sadly, we have to do it because there's no insulation under there at all. Just look how windy boards are there from Canada, probably 150 years ago. You don't get them like that anymore, George. Old wood. That's when we used to have an empire, we could steal everybody's stuff for nothing. Can't do it now. America's took over our empire now, so that's how they get cheap lumber. Even it can do. Radiator in. I think we made that video the other day. Do you know something? I think your James done one with me. I don't know. Anyway, I think we did. But anyway, we're a wee bit further on. But this system is really working. There's no doubt about it. It's definitely working. Yeah, so we'll show you that we've got the trees in. See, we managed to get these in because I'm in good standing in the place, so I know one of the brothers is sending over quite a substantial amount of money so we could get these in, so the builder's merchant's fine with me, so we managed to get them in. So here's the trays. These are solid, these are not just your PVC trays, these are resin. They're maybe 50 quid dearer, but my goodness, there's such a difference. You get these cheap PVC things, you just replace them in 5 years, absolute garbage. These are resin. So we've got 3 there and we've got 1 in there. 4 shower trays. So there's 4 that are going to have a shower. One's got a bath. And that's really where we're at. We're really making good progress. We're really cracking on now. Once the plumber comes and does his fitting, I think in the next few months, George will be able to move on to the nice stuff, like putting all the oak panelling up. I don't really want to think about that now because the oak panelling is hideously expensive, but we've got all the steel work done. We've got all the structural work done. We've got all the concrete work done. That thing again. I wish you wouldn't
The
good there.
walls moved about where they need to go, which has been a massive job. It's took us a year to get all that done, but it's one person. And as I said, I went online and looked. This house is 2,500 square feet, and the price to renovate a stone house that size in the UK last year was between £480,000 and £550,000. We will have completed this nowhere near that. Nothing like that. Maybe 180, 200, something like that. So we've done really well. It's been slow because we've only got one guy, we've only got George. But it's good because it gives us time to raise money and we just plod on and it saves us a fortune. So that's where we are. We'll go back out this way again. This will be a lovely.
Tell Sammy to come in,
This is going to be a really nice dining room. It'll be really nice in here with a big red cross over here. Big red cross. And remember, this red cross will shine right across the room to a massive mirror that's part of the fireplace setup. It's a fireplace and a mirror. So that red cross will be lit up from the light in the hall and it'll reflect right across the dining room onto that big mirror. So if we're in here with the candelabras, you're going to have a big red cross shining there and a big red cross shining here. And St Mary Magdalene up there on the stained glass, that'll all be lit up by a backlighter. St Mary Magdalene up there holding the chalice or the grail, whatever you want to say. It's going to be great, but we're really beginning to see progress now. We really are beginning to see progress.
It keeps us 3 times everything up.
You know, this will all be done. I'd say the next 6 months is going to be really exciting. Then it'll be the finishing, snagging stuff. So we're looking at the end of the year, but who would have thought it would get to this stage? It's incredible. We're one person, George. You know, who knows? I think, have you ever seen any wings in his back? I don't know. I think there's something funny going on with George because he's a great workman. I mean, every other tradesman we've had in here said, where did you get that guy? He's brilliant. He does everything to the ridiculous standards. I mean, look at this floor. This is on a concrete floor, but look what George did. 4x2s, double strength at the edges. On top of 4x2s or 5x2s on top of a concrete floor. Listen, this is not a domestic house. This is a house for the Templars for many generations. So what we're doing, we're putting down the foundations for the next generation. Because let's be honest, folks, we're getting old, aren't we? We're all getting a bit old. I'm 61. You are all much the same age. So this isn't really for us. We're the generation that's going to put this down, and then young folk can stand on our shoulders and do whatever they need to do in the future, because it's going to get rough in the future. You know it, I know it. The least we can do as old boys and old girls, old knights and old dames, is get something for the young people to work with in the future when they really, really, really need it. So this is incredibly important. And just, it's an astounding thing that we're involved in. And I just want to thank every single person from the bottom of my heart, and I really mean it. Thank you for backing this. We're a long way to go, but at least now we can see light at the end of the tunnel. And the weather's windy, wet, dark, damp, depressing, but I'm not depressed. I'm elated that this is getting done to the glory of God, and you're involved in it, and you should pat yourself in the back, because what a mighty thing we've done. So God bless you all. I'll give you an update next week. We'll maybe have the showers in by then, but until then, thank you, God bless you, God bless your families, and remember, stick close to God. You won't go far wrong. Tschüss, Vol.
Wait a minute. How do I get on here now? Oh dear. That's me. I'm back. I couldn't work out how to do it. Some progress, isn't there? Yeah, I meant to say in there, I couldn't believe you told us how many pipes went in. It's unbelievable. I mean, I know because I've got the receipts and I think, where's all these pipes going? 350 yards of pipes, central heating pipes in there. And there's about 2.5 kilometres of wiring. It's just a total restart, you know. But, you know, the price online for a normal standard price, if you check with Google, is about £500,000. $700,000 in dollars. We'll do it for nothing like that. Nothing like, much less than half of that. A third of that, probably. But it's a mighty job, and it's been a massive, massive undertaking. The house has basically been a whole rebuild, but because of an old house, you couldn't get away with knocking it down and building it again. But even that, the modern construction costs are extortionate. So we've done okay. We've done really well. And it's going to be a house that's going to last for generations. I mean, you see the way George builds things, it's absolutely ridiculous. But far better going overboard than not enough. You know, if you just did it as a cheap job, bang through it, if you got some other, you know, kind of contractors in, they just do it as cheap as they could for the profit margin. George just knows he's getting a day rate, he plods away, and he does a fantastic job. I mean, look at that floor he's putting in the dining room. It's unbelievable. It's just like double overkill. But it'll be there for a long, long time. We don't need to worry about it. So there we go. Excellent. There's Dr. Red. How you doing? It's fantastic. Mitch Cameron says gobsmacked. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. It's definitely insane. But it's wonderful, and it's wonderful involved in this. It's a really important job that we're all involved in. So let me show you some other things now before we run out of time. What time is it? Aye, when you see this, this is the health advisor for I think a British health advisor. I think it's for the government of Wales. Now I don't know if you spell that WALES or WHALES. Have a look at this. This is. I'm not joking. This is a serious thing, right? I'm not pretending. I'm not joking. I'm not having you on. I'm not pulling your leg. This is the health advisor, a government health advisor in this country. So if anybody wants to know the state of Britain, just look at this. Absolute crackpot. Have a look.
A person who is from an ethnic minority background, you know, some communities it's actually taboo to, and you know, it's quite a sensitive topic to talk about. So if you're not being able to learn about these things through the medium of school, then where do you learn, you know? And I wish when I was in school we were, you know, they teach us in Welsh back about, you know, how to apply for a bank account and how to, you know, get a job. But what about things like how to check if, you know, do a breast exam? How do I know if, you know, signs of cervical cancer, screenings, when am I supposed to get those? You know, the things that are going to prolong my life, you know? So why don't we teach these things before we teach, you know, how to get a job? Because if I'm not living long enough, how am I going to get a job?
Amazing. I have Bob in the background. Don't know what happened. But what do you make of that? I mean, seriously, that's a health advisor. You must be joking. Seriously, you must be joking. But Sammy done me a wee drawing here. He says, that's what she looks like. See, it's a dead ringer in it, look at the face in it. But that is a health advisor in Britain. A health advisor. Top health advisor. It's just, Wales, that's what I think. She's maybe for the country of Wales, WALES, but I think it's Wales as in the big fish. It's bizarre. I couldn't eat pork. That woman, I thought they couldn't eat pork. Let me tell you something. That woman's eating anything. I think that woman ate the health department. That's why she's the only one left. I think she ate the rest of them. It's crazy. It's crazy. Learn how to eat healthy food before finding work, they said. I know. It's craziness. How did she get the job? I'll tell you how she got the job. She's female and she's Muslim. That's it. She's female, she's Muslim, she's brown. That's it. Those are the three criteria now the crazy woke people go for. You know that. I know that. That's the way it is. And, you know, it shows you that, you know, increasingly now people are understanding there's big differences between us all, isn't there? Now, we've got some very good African-American members and they're fine, but generally we're not the same. We just ain't the same. People say, oh, everybody's the same. No, we're not. Here is an African-American funeral in America, and I've seen this loads of times. It's not just a one-off that I've found this. I've seen this loads of times, so I'm going to show this today and let me see it. Look at this. Can you imagine going to your granny's funeral or your granddad's funeral and doing this? We're not the same.
Give it to him, baby. Go, girl. Now do it quick. Do it quick. There you go.
I mean, what do you say? What do you say about that? It's just incredible. But this is it's obviously an extreme example of why we're not the same. And if you go to YouTube and you watch all these mad fights in McDonald's, Burger King, it's always the same demographic that's doing it. Uncontrollable, just cannot control their urges. We're not the same. And I think as time goes by, we're going to come to a time in the future where there'll be a separation, where we don't want to live with these people anymore. We're just fed up with it. And these people only live because we're paying them because they're on welfare. Nearly all of them, 85% are on welfare. So they're living on us. And if we're not there, who are they going to live on? I don't know. But impulse control, that's what I was looking at. Brian Hope, that's disgraceful. Brian, you're no kidding, mate. You're no kidding. Here, we're shortly, just waiting for the good weather coming. Brian, funny, I was thinking of you the other day. I was thinking about you when I was in the toilet. I'll explain. We're waiting for the better weather coming. Go to the patches, the names, and you've got 2 in the toilet for people's names on the windows. Everybody sponsored the windows. We're getting all them on as when a good weather comes in, just waiting for this weather to break, and then we're going to put them on. And you've got 2 in the toilet, so you've got the 2 best bits in the place. Everybody's going to see you in memorandums. But I think we maybe need to refresh the wording on a lot of them because we're not sure about the wording on a lot of them. So anyway, it'll be done this spring, and all your names will be on. So well done, excellent. Need my windows done. Absolutely, you're getting your windows done, 100%. But we're just getting the weather cleared up and we had to replace the window. The only place in the whole building that settled was in the toilet and the window broke. But it's fine, we got it done. But when the weather clears, they're all going on. But I think we might need to refresh people's memorandums. But we'll get it done. Memorials, we'll get it done. And it's maybe a good thing because you maybe more time to think and maybe a better form of words. I don't know. But we'll get them done. We've got all because we had to get this special stuff printed. We've got all that. We just need to make sure we get the right words for it. And that's us. Sammy, camera. Sorry, don't worry. This camera's doing this now and again. No idea what's going on. Pull it out, put it back in. I'll come back on in a minute. Wait a minute. It's not coming on. There we go. We're back again. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's just the camera. It goes a wee bit funny now and again. But anyway, we're getting there. It's fine. So, I wanted to show you a couple of things. You see our bands we march about and so on and so forth. Well, we do different things. There was a young fella died the other day there, and they had a big band parade. Big band parade with all the flags out in the middle of the night through a wee house estate, a wee projects estate to show respect to the guy. And I'm just seeing if that's it. Where is it? Here it's here. So it doesn't just end with marching about in the summer and having fun. When our people die, we also pay them tribute. Have a wee look at this. I think it's very touching. Hey. Well, there you go. That's outside the dead brother's house. There was an act of remembrance and people laid wreaths and all the rest of it. So it's not just one thing we do. This thing is a whole lifestyle thing. People, sons, fathers, grandsons, generations could be in these militia bands. It's very nice. Yeah, and they're quite wild boys then. They're all quite wild boys. But the big parade, there's up the Shankill, Marty. There's a big parade through the Shankill with all the flag carriers, and although they come from a different part of the country, that man's 3 daughters were in the local band here at Gold Springs years ago. So very nice to see. Definitely. It's proper behaviour and it's good to send off a brother like that. He had a lot of problems and so on and so forth. I won't get into. But anyway, that's the way it is. So, right, just rounding this up now. let me see. So that's the good side of the band culture, okay? Now, I've got to be honest with you. I can't paint it too rosy because sometimes there's a bit of a naughty side of the band culture. It's all young men playing the old war tunes, just tunes, benign tunes. These are powerful war tunes of ancient history and all that. So young men playing all day, banging drums, they tends to get their blood up. And of course, they're on a few sherbets. So their blood tends to rise. I mean, you get young men together, they're all the same religion, they're all the same colour, but even at that, there's a rivalry. And again, this, if you look at the hillbillies and the feuding and all that, we're famous for it. We're famous for it because it's us, we're the same people. So if we can't find anybody else to fight with, we fight with ourselves. And sometimes we have these face-offs where bands pass each other on the street and they all get a bit irate with each other because we should be first, you should be first, and they all get a bit... Anyway, so here's the other side, sometimes our band culture, which is a wee bit iffy, but it is what it is. There you go, and that evolved into a big mad punch-up, which to get into the film. There's a big brawl with 100 young fellas all punching lumps at each other. People say, it's a disgrace. It shouldn't happen, I suppose. But look, they're young fellas, they're in a militia band, they're militants. They are militant young Christian men, Protestants. They're militants. Clues in the name. They're fighting people. That's what they do. That's what they're marching for. They're fighting militants. So occasionally they're going to fight. That's what they do. So, it's okay. The bands are great. Oh, YouTube's on again. I don't know what's up on that YouTube. I don't trust none of them. But anyway, that's the other side of our culture that you don't want to hide and paint it all rosy. Quite often, these parades can end up in mass brawls. I remember I had a couple of Hungarians. I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember we helped them out? We got them out of Hungary. The Hungarian government said they couldn't protect this woman because she'd filmed the immigrants coming through the fences of Hungary and she tripped one of them up. She got sacked from her job. And she's apprehending a criminal invading her country. She gets sacked for her job. Nobody dropped her like a hot potato because there was a £50,000 price on her head by Al Qaeda, and then ISIS put $500,000 on her head, and the Hungarian government said they couldn't protect her. And she was married with a couple of children. And Imri got on to us and we said, we'll protect her. And we brought her over here and we put in one of these project estates, loyalist estates. And the people said, we'll look after her. Don't you worry about that. Nobody get near her. We'll look after her. So some of the boys with the stuff, they said, we'll look after her. And she was here for a while and stayed with us and we looked after them. Do you remember when we paid for that? We raised a few quid to get them over. To look after them, so we done that. Well done. But these are the type. These are people are tough people, and they looked after them, and nobody else would. Nobody else would. There was no Tommy Robinson there. There was no, none of the big talking heads would take in to do it because it was a dangerous thing to do. But we did it, and we would do it again. So there you go. Exactly. It's all good stuff. So I think we've just about looked at another day. I want to also say a big special thank you for all our members who went to Louisiana for the pro-life event. I think this is, Roger Madison will tell me, is this the second or third year you've all got together? A load of Templars, nice to see with their Templar regalia on, their medals, and looking absolutely wonderful. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to convey something. We're ambassadors for Christ. We're also ambassadors for the Templar Order. And it was good to see so many Templar men and be there. And I've seen our big fella, we call him a big African-American guy. He's a big lumpy man. He was there. Well done. Excellent to see him there. And the rest of it. Third year for me. Okay, so that's 3 years Templar folk have been going to this thing, I believe. And it's just wonderful to see you all doing that. It really is a great thing to do, because this order is 100% pro-life. On our chapel, the plaque says, dedicated to the unborn child and the Holy Christian Martyrs. We are pro-life 100%. That's it. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. We do a lot of work behind the scenes with pro-life groups that we don't publicise and things like that. We also be helping out a street group who are protecting the young children going and coming back from school, Catholic school mainly, with these hundreds of Muslim paedophiles like stalking them. It's like watching someone at Serengeti, the lion stalking the wildebeest. It's horrible. But we're going to be doing that. The page should be up this week at some point. So we have a page specifically for our missions, whether it be Ukraine, whether it be for cases like that, having to rescue that woman and her family, or helping these people defend our school children and women in the morning, going to school, coming back from school, and at night time coming through the city centre as they're making their way home from employment. So we're going to be doing that. We'll have a page up, and I'd ask everybody to really support that well. These guys need about a dozen flak jackets. We'll get the police ones, the bulletproof ones, and stab proof. And have the clip on there for the camera. They need the body cams and the walkie-talkies. That'll probably cost $2 or $3 grand. But I think we need to do it. We can't just no do anything, just keep banging away at this house, although that's extraordinarily important. But we need to make sure we keep our eye on the mission. We're still doing the pro-life stuff in the background, but this other project is going to be very good. So that'll be next week. We'll get right into that. Andy McBride, how you doing? Richard Burrell, that's the big black fella. Great guy, him. Richard Burrell. Nice to see him there. Nice to see all the rest of the lads there as well. Well done. And Big E-Man was there. There was a lot. What do you call him? Corky was there, who looks like my neighbour, Mr. Cork. It was Sir Corkin. He was there. So it was good to see you all. Excellent, Marty. Good stuff. But yeah, so we'll get Andy. Andy's been watching on YouTube. I was wondering where some people went. Anyway, that's all we've got time for today. But again, I just want to thank you all very much for doing everything you do. There's Westover. Yeah, great job for our pro-life ambassador team. Absolutely excellent job. First class. He's done us proud, and we really appreciate that. And we'll make use of it. I don't know if we're allowed to use your pictures. Just tell us if we can use your pictures, because we'd like to put in the next Crusader magazine. If that's okay, we certainly will do that. Well, I'm going to leave you now. Love yous and leave yous. God bless you all. Nice to see you. We are bringing Mr. Griffin on. I don't know whether he'll be on a Thursday or Friday. I haven't decided yet. But Mr. Griffin will be back probably from next week. Yes, he's going to have his own show, the Griffin Show. So you're going to have the Griffin Show from next week, and I'm sure you'll all be glad to see him. He's been a wee bit absent the last few months, but he's coming back. So he'll be here next week, God willing, and if we can get this wretched thing working. So we'll see how we go on with it. But I'm going to lobbies and levies, and I'm just trying to look for this thing I'm trying to get for you. I don't know where it is. Where is this thing? I've got it. I can find it. It's a wee tune that I play all the time. I haven't heard it for a wee while. So thank you for joining us today. Oh no, Roger Mann said that good pick with the all sixes. That would be perfect. I agree with you. And it's a very good picture, actually. Don't know. You think you could have done, Roger? It's brilliant, brilliant. And again, Roger, congratulations on being made a Sergeant of Arms. It was one of the quickest decisions the order has ever made, because you've been very good and excellent, and you thoroughly deserve it. And God bless you, sir. And more power to you. And let's see some more years at the pro-life events. And other Templars who live in other parts of the country, you really need to start getting to the pro-life events. You need to get your face seen and be amongst these people so they know the Templars are fully committed to the battle to save innocent life. And there's nothing more innocent than an unborn baby, okay? So remember that. Well, God bless you all. I shall see you again. The good Lord preserves me on the Sunday service. But until then, remember, stick close to God. You won't go far wrong. Do as vault.